Yeah, next, I would now proceed with a presentation entitled Proposal for MARPOL Annex 4 and 5. Let us give Team Green-Ocean a round of applause as we invite them to the floor.
Save the ocean. With our proposal,
This is
Team Green-Ocean.
Honored to meet judges, distinguished delegates and guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is Team Green-Ocean. We are here to suggest some proposals to check our environmental issues that never be treated as subordinate problems. The issue we're dealing with is reviewing the effectiveness of MARPOL Annex 4 and 5. First, we'll find loopholes about current situations and policies and role. And second, we suggest some proposals. And finally, consider some needed works, the setting and revising MEPC resolutions. From now on, we'll begin the first step by analyzing the current situations. There are several types of contaminants generated on ships. Among them, we think that sewage and garbage are the most urgent issue because they have the most direct impact on marine environment. And it occur all the time. Response to these problems, there are numerous organizations, coordinations, and initiatives. Despite of that, in last year, problems suggested by UN Environmental Program are following. First, none of the international policies agreed binding and measurable target limiting for marine litter and plastic pollution. Second, responsibilities for monitoring and reporting in high seas are not always straightforward. Third, there are little policy coordination among main agents of law enforcement. Further, they have policies that uneven, having loopholes, erratic implementation, and inconsistent standards. Plus, example of third problem, we will show the case of United States. United States has not ratified MARPOL Annex 4. First, we would like to thank, Instead, there are two related laws, Clean Water Act and Act to Prevent Pollutant from Ships. Nevertheless, according to CRS report for United States Congress, the regulatory mechanism established to implement MARPOL is separated and distinct from the CWA and other federal environmental laws. Look carefully, moving to another perspective. Both MARPOL and CWA have examination or inspection for verifying compliance each standards. If vessel doesn't pass, vessel can be detained in this situation. It requires substantial coordination between stakeholders, but the response rate from flag stage has been poor. We can find another problems when considering CWA and MPRSA, each related with MARPOL Annex 4 and 5. If discharge is considered that occur in incidental situation or some conditions are satisfied, waste discharge is accepted from regulations. And, we can find another problem when considering CWA and MPRSA, each related with MARPOL Annex 4 and 5. If discharge is considered occur in incidental situation or some conditions are satisfied, waste discharge is accepted from regulation, and discharge will be occurred all the time. Back again, there are a number of existing efforts dealing with marine pollution. Look for this timeline carefully. In particular, the importance of marine pollution in UNEP has been emphasized, and it can be seen that it becomes concrete over the years. In other words, UNEA already have awareness about marine pollution. Nevertheless, why marine pollution is still increasing? What is the essential problem? Now, this delegate would like to hand over the mic to our next delegate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. From now on, let's take a look at MAPOR Annex 4 and 5 and the related MEPC resolutions to see if MAPOR, which is the legal basis for international cooperation, has any problems or is being well implemented. The following is part of MAPOR Annex 4 Regulation 3, 4, and 8, especially in sections 3.1 and 4.1, expressions of requests such as shall be as used, even though they are tool of verifying compliance. And it seems that this will be discharged at all times except when being prohibited by Regulation 8. Next, this is simplified discharge provisions of revised MAPOR Annex 5. In the same context as the Section 8 in the Annex 4, it seems that the fundamental prevention of discharge will not be going well. Since a lot of time has passed, this can be little reflection of current situation. So these annexes have been revised and supplemented by MEPC, a committee under the IMO. Even though there are detailed technical guidelines for waste disposal and discharge, we found some shortcomings in the institutional measures on managing the technical measures. MEPC 295 is the resolution about guidelines for the implementations of Annex 5. As you can see, there are many advisory words, including using, avoiding, encouraged, and should. Sections 4.2 and 4.2.3 require detailed information on the supervision of Annex 5 and the study for the efficiency assessment of Annex 5 itself. But there seems to be no specific plan to this. MEPC 310 also has similar problems. There is a mention that keeping records of the garbage was mandatory, but there is no specific details on a management plan for that record. The conducting and sharing of related research is also emphasized. There are no clear guidelines on the effectiveness of research and the collection of relevant data. To summarize the problems, first, there are many recommendations in places that should be mandatory. Second, there are no concrete way to monitor the implementation of the convention. This makes it difficult for the IMO to determine whether the contracting countries have implemented it, as regulations vary by region. In fact, a low implementation rate would also undermine effectiveness of the convention. Now, this delegate would like to hand over the mic to next delegate. Thank you.
From now on, we'll propose our solutions for improving effectiveness of the current regulations. For more efficient control of discharging garbage and sewage, we will propose establishment of vertical integrated database based on real-time discharge monitoring data. The vertical integrated database is divided by 3 modules. Module A is installing a database for storage of discharge records. Module B is applicating discharge data to regulations by using electronic record book for all related supervision organizations. Module C is expansion of data usage for environment study. First, there are 2 types of data to be monitored: sewage discharge and garbage management. Real-time sewage discharge is monitored by installed appropriate sensors, whether the pollutant is treated or not. Garbage discharge records the specific type, amount of waste, and treatment method using the management reporting system. Measured data are stored in the ship's database in the form of an electronic record book. Module B, all regulatory supervision departments establish own database for each purpose for using discharge data, and their own collecting system are linked with each others. And Module C, data usage can be expanded to environment study, for example, UNEP and other research institutions or individuals. It is expected to stimulate related research. If no longer use the self-estimation formula, but use the actual data for the study, it will enhance effectiveness study of marine pollution globally. This is vertical integrated database. For our proposal, unified reporting form in all process and extensive information sharing will be helpful to following 3 IMO strategic direction. For our proposal, in this some works. First, revise MEPC 295 to strengthen enforcement and extend the scope of regulations. In class 6.2.4, change should consider to consider. Also, other similar clause, including same problems, should be changed too. Second, revise MEPC 312 for extending application of electronic record book globally. Because current record book application is not a requirement. Third, citing MEPC 312 clauses about security and accountability to prevent problems arising from using electronic record book like data forgery and alteration. And following 2 things are subjected to mandatory. Collecting data and reporting system about this data, this must be added. Additionally, this collected and stored data will be published to public members or secretariat discriminately at reporting platform by depending on the purpose of data utilization. Also, platform where data is collected can be IMO GCs or other reporting platforms. We must consider past application for countries in insufficient fiscal state or insufficient technical level for regulatory application. Mandatory of installing sensors and recording database will be applied to vessels which have large volume of waste. Standard about waste volume can be following factors at the bottom of the screen. In perspective of SD1, Legal force is enhanced by mandatory report, implementation rate will be increased. It means that uniform implementation of IMO instruments and full compliance between all stakeholders, including IMO, are available. In perspective SD7, it will be easier to verify reports and find improvements by applying give the data to regulations. Last, in perspective of SD8, all the things we mentioned are enhanced IMO's technical and analytical capabilities. Thank you so much for listening to our proposal.
Thank you, Green-Ocean, for your wonderful presentations. I think there will be a lot of comments and questions from the floor. First, judges, you were invited for the questions and comment. Yes, please.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Let me ask one very simple question. Slide number 26, you suggested change the term should consider, from should consider to consider. What's the difference between the original one and your proposed text?
Give me some few seconds, please. Thank you.
Could you please share the slide 20 seconds?
Slide number 26.
26, yes.
It means remove ambiguous expression as soon as possible. It
At my best knowledge of English, the original English is more accurate to express the intention of the recommendation. But without should, it's very ambiguous what you are trying to achieve with this amendment.
Green-Ocean, do you have any reply or answer to the comments from Dr. Nan?
Sorry, please give me some time, please.
To save time, I would recommend to change from should consider to shall consider, something like that, you know,
Yes.
to achieve your intention.
Thank you for your advice.
Yes, any other comments from the judge?
Thank you, and congratulations for your comprehensive presentation. As far as I know, seawater pollution has main sources, especially from the land-based or ship-based. So along with that is sources, some such kinds of management tools or approach should be a diversity. Internationally, for example, IMO MAPOL conventions are just convention for the pollution related to the ships. But as you mentioned, the UNEA, for example, UNEP, for example, in the Marinette case, they are managing some land-based area. It means that not cover that ship-based issue. So I'm not sure. So of course, all the existing instrument or global societies, including the UN, the entities should collaborate to responding such kinds of ocean pollution. But I could not fully understand what do you suggest UNEP or IMO to collaborate to manage on real-time pollutions using such kinds of IMO GIS, IMO GIS framework. Could you explain more easily? Thank you.
Thank you for your question and give us some time, please.
After the answer, the last comment from Judge Park from KMI will be given. Yes, after the answer, the last comment from the judge will be given.
You mentioned about source of discharge. As I found, according to numerous reports, you are right, but I think our proposal is meaningful for monitoring and tracking discharge source from ships. As I found the data, there are no or few data from ships. It based on self-estimated formulas. So, in contrast to land-based garbage, sewage garbage tracking is impossible or very hard. So our proposal is helpful for that problems. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentations. According to your proposal text, and your proposal is two mandatory items. One is a reporting system. Another one is the mandatory of data collecting. It's very interesting. However, how to evaluate the reporting system and data collections?
Sorry, I can hear your voice well. It's weak and small.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I'm sorry again. According to your proposal text, is your proposal two mandatory item. One is a reporting system. Another one is mandatory of data collecting. I would like to ask for your the explanations to how to evaluate reporting system and data collecting.
Evaluate what? Tell me again, please. Evaluate.
So your statement, it is the reporting system will be subjected to mandatory report. Another one is mandatory of data collecting of discharge record database. Your proposal, how to evaluate? And so if to the GISIS program is necessarily is evaluation process.
Look at the screen, please.
Could you please let me know the number of this?
Maybe 15?
Slide 1515.
No, sorry. Sorry, show the 14 slide.
1413.
Thank you. You asked me evaluation, how to evaluate the mandatory. We told you there are quite good measures how to check technically. So our proposal is take improvement for these institutional measures. So this can be expected to quietly compliance technical measures well.
Yes, this is a guideline of technical measures and institutional measures. This is a guideline for case study for another process. And so I understand your proposal when you are proposed to your mandatory. And so I understand your have some wisdom to evaluate process, how to process. For how to first time to the collecting the data, and then the process to the evaluation organization, the evaluated by the classification society or the expert, and then to the review process. I would like to listen to your wisdom and your idea. Why you're the proposed to this mandatory, the item, your proposal. And so there is not mentioned there is not concern about the proposal. Sorry, too much time.
Thank you, Dr. Park. Thank you very much. This is my just a small comment as modulators. When I first listened to your name of the group team, the Green Ocean, I was a bit concerned that the global leaders of Green Ocean field are all here, so your presentation could be quite challenging. So that was the situation, I guess. So thank you for all of you, and please give a big round of applause for our judge, international leaders of the Green Oceans, and our Green Ocean teams as well. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.